Day, Twins in Baltimore facing the Orioles. Going to pick it up at the bottom of the fifth. That's Ryan Mountcastle driving one deep, and this is Rob Refsnyder going back and slamming into the wall without realizing that it is there. Look, everybody's laughing. Why are we laughing at that? He just ran into a wall, and that, of course, led our very own Dan Orlovsky to call attention to himself, saying boundary markers, designations, walls, lines, they come out of nowhere at times, I've heard, which of course gives our staff the license to once again show Dan Orlovsky's moment where he didn't realize it was there. Is this nice? I mean, why do we keep doing this?
Because it's awesome. I mean, of all the things that to be your claim to fame, like Orlovsky's here logging like 400 hours of TV a week, and this is still the thing he's most famous for. It's unbelievable.
He brought it on himself.
That's just worse.
He did.
He called attention to it himself.
That's so much worse.
Fair enough. We're 100 days to kick off for the NFL season. There will be 5 first-round rookie quarterbacks getting ready to go 100 days from now, including that one, Trevor Lawrence. He was the #1 overall pick. We're all well aware of him in Jacksonville. So he went 1. Zach Wilson went 2 to the Jets after a spectacular season at BYU, and the Jet fans are all excited to see what he is able to do. Trey Lance was perhaps the big surprise of round 1, going #3 to the 49ers. A lot of unknown there coming out of North Dakota State, having started just 17 games, but all the potential in the world. Skipping to the middle of the first round is Mac Jones, who's wearing the number 50 in Patriots camp, and it remains to be seen, as we were discussing earlier, exactly when he gets the ball in place of Cam Newton in New England. And that brings us to Justin Fields, who went 11. The Bears moved up to get him. In case you missed it earlier this week, or I should say late last week, Jay Cutler, former Bears quarterback, had this to say about when Fields should start.
I wouldn't play the kid to start. That's what I would. That's where I would start. I would let him watch, and I think it's just a tough spot to put someone out there, especially in Chicago. And I think Andy is more than serviceable. I think they can win games with Andy and kind of float the ship along until the kid's ready.
Isn't that interesting? So that's what Jay Cutler thinks. Mike Tannenbaum, what do you think?
I think Justin Fields should play from day one unless he doesn't understand the offense. There's such a massive gap in talent. And Greeny, if we go back a couple years ago, Mitch Trubisky in 2018 was 3rd in total QBR because he could throw it and he can make plays with his feet, just like Justin Fields can. This is a good team. This is a playoff caliber team with representative quarterback play. And as long as he knows the offense, Justin Fields gives them a significant better chance to win. That's how big of a difference there is in talents between Fields and Andy Dalton.
Oh, that's an interesting perspective on it, because Dan Graziano, what are you hearing from Matt Nagy? Mike can think what he thinks, and Jay Cutler can think what he thinks. We can all think what we think, but there's only one person whose opinion matters. What's he thinking? I
think based on the conversations I've had, the Bears coaching staff is comfortable starting Dalton. They were comfortable starting Dalton before they knew they could get Justin Fields. The issue is Fields has to win the job, but they're not averse to the idea of Fields winning the job, but he has to do it in training camp. If he beats out Andy Dalton, looks to them like the better option, then I think he probably ends up starting week 1. They won't just sit him just because he's a rookie. I mean, they didn't do the Patriots thing. He's wearing number 1, right? Not 50. So they're not afraid of that. I think they're open to the possibility that he beats out Andy Dalton and wins the job. But
regardless of who it's from, what can this team do this year?
Yeah, it's Chicago, and Chicago wants more, though, Greeny. That's for damn sure. This is a city that desperately wants winning, and I think you can expect maybe good quarterback play to give you a couple more wins. I mean, you've got a capable team there, so you get to 10-6 maybe, but is it with Andy Dalton? I don't know how comfortable why they should be so comfortable with Andy Dalton based on he's also new in the system and Nagy's calling him basically a rookie in terms of learning. So I'm almost with Mike T here. I won't go all the way in terms of just play him from day one, but you got to give him every opportunity to win the job. And I don't not necessarily agree as telling a kid, yeah, just watch Andy. He's going to take it to start and then, do the best you can and we'll evaluate you from there. I want the pressure on the kid. I want him to know that he can play week 1 if he can get the job done, make this a quarterback position a competition because Justin Fields is that talented.
Teddy, it's interesting because you have to balance 2 things at the same time. You have to balance developing the quarterback for the future, which on some level might be the most important thing you can do for your franchise, with trying to win right now, and you take into account the somewhat tenuous job status of the coach and the general manager. Teddy, how does that impact all this?
Yeah, I mean, taking the sort of perspective of how you save your job. I mean, you want to show you can develop a young quarterback and show the progress over the course of the year, and you have the support of that first-round draft pick quarterback, and the promise is there, and you can see it. That's how you save your job if you do it with this kid. Andy Dalton, he can win you a couple games, but I believe he's maxed out in his career. This kid here comes in, Nagy, you show that you can work with him, and you're the reason why he's having success and the team's having success with Justin Fields. That's how you achieve the longevity in terms of staying in Chicago as the head coach.
Go ahead, Mike T.
Yeah, and as Teddy knows, more than Matt Nagy or anybody else, the players will know. And when they see Justin Fields out there, again, as long as he knows how to function in the offense, there's such a difference in their ability. The players will go to the head coach and say, we're not trying to wait the season out. We don't need him to be on the bench. Players want to win, and they're the great check and balance to a head coach and a GM. And when they're out there practicing, it won't even be close as long as he knows what's to do. So even if Coach Nagy's like, we're going to wait 3 to 6 games, I just don't think his locker room will allow that to happen.
And that's the big difference in these situations. Again, Jacksonville, the Jets, they have new coaches. They have nothing better to do right now, nothing more important to accomplish than developing their young quarterbacks. The Bears have other considerations and other concerns. We'll leave that there for the moment. Much more football as we go. But in case you missed it, there was huge news from France yesterday, from the French Open. Naomi Osaka has withdrawn from this year's Grand Slam after she was fined and threatened with harsher sanctions for skipping her mandatory media obligations. Osaka revealed that she has experienced depression and anxiety since winning her first major at the 2018 U.S. Open, explained that speaking to the media often makes her nervous. In a statement, she wrote, in part, "I think now the best thing for the tournament, the other players, and my well-being is that I withdraw so that everyone can get back to focusing on the tennis going on in Paris. I never wanted to be a distraction. I accept that my timing was not ideal and my message could have been clearer." The legendary Chris Everett appeared to talk about this on Good Morning America today.
Most importantly, I hope that Naomi's okay, and I think all the players do, and that she gets the support that she needs. I really respect Naomi for being a spokesperson, and she has been the darling of the media. The media have really built her up and have helped her brand. I think these press conferences are a responsibility to the players. And remember, these athletes are teenagers and in their early 20s, and they can't cope with what a 45, 50-year-old golfer can cope with. The press really have to have some compassion and some respect for the questions that they ask, because it's really putting a lot of the players off.
Very complicated matter from a lot of different perspectives. Naomi Osaka has been on quite the run. Since she won the Open in 2018, was her first major. Her 36 major match wins since then are second most by any woman, trailing only Serena, who's won 38 matches over that stretch of time. All right, we'll take a short timeout here as we continue. Aaron